Hey guys, in this week's tip, we're going to start off a month-long series on SMS reporting. In preparation for these next few tips, I polled retailers, dealers, and even a couple of our guys up in Montreal that are hidden back in the corner. The intent of this is to bring to light some of those lesser-known reports that a lot of folks are using to really harness the power of SMS. Before we jump into the actual reports, let's go over a few housekeeping tips on the SMS reporting tools. First, let's review how we get to the reporting tool within SMS. As you can see on the screen in front of you, we have both SMS and SMS Pro running here in the background. Most folks are familiar with how to get to the reports from SMS Pro, simply clicking on the Report tab, and voila, there you go. Your standard preferred reports open up. A lot of folks don't know, though, that you can get to the exact same tool set within SMS. We'll go back over here. From our Manage tabs, where we want to be, you can see under the Report section, All Reports. And notice, it's the exact same screen that we saw back here in SMS Pro. So in SMS and SMS Pro, you can get to the Reporting Tools section. With the Christmas season upon us, we're just giving away pointers like crazy here on the tip of the week. In the first one, we're going to go back to our Manage tab, and notice, right on the main tab, I've got a report that's already listed and run for me. All I have to do is execute it to review it. So let's figure out how the heck we did that, because that sure is a time-saving tip. To add this report to our management dashboard, I'm going to go ahead and hop over into SMS Pro, only because it's easier to see and I can show you the differences easier. You can select whatever report you want from the list. In our case, we're going to go Financial, Store, and I'm going to work on the Store Multi-Total 7-day report right here. We're going to click it. Now, if I just want to run it to view on the screen or save to a file or print or whatever, I would normally put in my date here. I could select specific totalizers if I want to do that. And if I have multiple stores, I could select the region, or in our case here, I'm going to select all stores. Typically, we would then click the launch button to either view it or print it. In this case though, I'm going to go ahead and click this add button here to the far right. When I do that, a new window pops up that asks, do I want to save this as a preferred report or a task? We'll get back to preferred report in a minute. Right now we're creating a task. I'm going to highlight it, click OK, and it's going to bring up another window that allows me to make a few of the settings that I want. So let's review our settings real quick. Well, first off, we get a task number that's system generated and it identifies what we're doing here. We have a description field that we can change by simply highlighting in the box and changing the name to whatever we want, maybe to make it a little bit more sense to us if we name it another way. We can set it for a specific operator, or all operators can see it. We can also set the date range here and the recurrence. This offset field here allows us to adjust the date range that is run within the report. Since I'm on a demo system, I'm going to go ahead and back it up a month so we have some data. To do that, I simply type in -30. If I want to take it forward some, I simply type in 30. You can see just below here that we can select specific UPCs or vendors. In our case though, we're going to run the report for all products, all vendors. The other settings that we have, we can set the priority, which sets the ranking order in which the report shows up on the dashboard. We can also set it to active or inactive if we want to save this for a later date. Now the last thing we want to look at over here is where we want this report to show up, on what tab. We can set it to the Buy, Sell, or Manage tab, or we can have it email us. For right now, we're going to set it up on the Manage tab so I can show you what that does. When we're done, we simply click the Done key. Now to show you what happens, I'm going to hop back over here into SMS. I'm on my Manage tab, but I need to refresh that. And when I do so, you'll see that our multi-total 7-day report shows up right here, just in line with the other. Now the real beauty of setting up this task is that each day when we come in on our Manager tab, we will see these same reports show back up because we set the recurrence to daily. To view the report, we simply click Execute from here, and then the report will pop up. Now granted, mine is a demo system and I don't have a lot of data, but you'll get the idea. Now the other quick tip I want to show you is going back to the main reports tool. When we click on the button, we default to a preferred report screen. So how do we add something here to make things a little bit more efficient for us? Well, that's easy enough to do. To demo this more effectively for you, I'm going to set the screens up. I'm going to first go back to my main Manage tab, then I'm going to jump over into SMS Pro. I'm at the main report screen. I'm going to click on Financial, Store Level Reporting, and we'll select this Store 7-day multi-total again. We highlight it, we can set the date range if need be. We're going to go ahead and click Add, only this time, instead of Task, we're going to click on Preferred Report. When we do that, a window pops up. Where do you want to add this report? I want it on my Preferred Reports page. I click OK. Another window pops up, and this is a grid of the reports that are on our preferred report page. That's a tongue slinger for you. You can see we have 6 total reports, and our Store Multi-Total 7-day is 5th in line. That's what we want. We're going to go ahead and click Add. Then we're going to close out of this. We're going to go back into SMS. We're going to refresh our report screen. And notice our Store Multi-Total 7-day pops up here on our default preferred report screen. That's pretty cool stuff. Okay, great. Well, for the remainder of this week's tip, and for the next few, we're going to set things up like a top 10 countdown. So I guess we'll start this off like all those other countdown shows and begin with report number 10. So anytime you have a report with a nickname, you know you got to include that in the list, and that's really where we're going to start. I'm in my main reports view, which I got to by hitting the reports button here in SMS Pro. I'm going to select Financial, then I'm going to go to Departments, and then the first report we're going to look at is the daily department sales versus last year, better known as the President's Report. Now, after we select the date range and launch the report, this is the end result. It's a nice summary overview that allows management or the President to notice and verify trends that are going on within the store. So let's examine what we got as a result of this. We've got department sales by days of the week with a few analysis tools over here to the right and to the bottom. So we're displaying weekly sales totals by department along with a ratio that compares that department with total net sales. We also have the same exact numbers for last year. So we got last year total department sales with last year's ratio. Some pretty good analysis tools to tell you what each department is doing compared year over year. At the bottom of the report, we've got totals for each day of the week plus a ratio that determines how much that day was for the total weekly sales. We can also see customer counts and we can see average basket size here as well. All those again summed up within the weekly total. Underneath that, we've got the same data for the same days for the same week of last year's sales. So we can compare and quickly identify any trends that are going on with sales, customer count, or even basket size. What a great report. Well, every great president has to have some people in the background to make him look good. So we're going to go ahead and look at report number 9. I'm back at my main report screen. I'm going to select Financial, Departments, and now this time I'm going to select Department Sales by Price Type. Now after we select the date range and launch the report, these are the results that we get. An excellent companion to the President's Report. In this example, we're still looking at those department sales, only this time by price type. Regular, in-store, TPR, sale, along with a few analysis tools. The data within this report sums up department sales and compares it against price type and then provides a nice clear picture of what's going on with department sales with regular pricing and sale pricing. Okay, the final report we're going to review this week is the store summary report. To get there is pretty simple. I'm back at my main reports window. I'm going to click on Financial. I'm going to click on Store, and then I'm going to select under the accounting section, Total Store Summary. So after we select our date range and launch the report, this is the end result that we get. This report is basically broken up into two main sections. This top half here is a balance sheet of sorts for tender types and tills. You can see we have our tender types over here to the left, and then the dollar amounts. Now my numbers look kind of goofy because it's a demo system, but you'll get the idea. Now I'm going to scroll down to the second half of the report so we can look at some of the data within that section. So the second half of this report has some pretty sexy data too. It starts off with a running grand total listed at the top. Then we break down sales for you. We start off with total sales, amount of money collected. From that we can subtract any taxes by type. Then we can also select any deposits like bottle deposits for instance, and that gives us the net sales, which you see right here. In a quick glance then, you can see information about payments received on your AR listed right here. Any item discounts made just below that, and then a little bit further below, a breakdown on sales by taxability type. Within this same report, we got a nice summary of markdowns that happened during the period that we ran the report for. The number of markdowns right here, along with the dollar amount associated over to the right. We also have similar information available for checks. Within the same view, we also report on a few exceptions that may help within your loss prevention needs. We show the cancellation of previous item scan, the total times it was done here, the dollar amount associated here. We also do the same thing with refund, whether it's normal refunds or tax refunds. The total amounts done and the dollar amount associated right here. The final section of this report is a summary of some stats that can help in your day-to-day business. Some of those stats include things like total customers versus sales, total number of items sold versus number of items that were scanned versus number of items that were keyed, and also the amount of no sales that happened during the given period. If you have a loyalty program in place that allows shoppers to buy items with points, any types of those transactions are listed right here in a summary view. And lastly, any types of inventory adjustments are listed right here at the bottom. Well, that's it for this week's tip. Next week, we'll take a look at 3 additional reports that can help you in your day-to-day operations. Until then, have a great day.